Hello, loves. Welcome back to WitchyMarlaina's Ghost Adventures. I'm your host, WitchyMarlaina, and today we're going to take a break for my spookiest objects just because I have something else to talk about today. And that is my trip to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. Okay, let's get started. The majority of you know that I went this past weekend to Las Vegas to do content with my fellow Pink Ladies, Tracy and Marie, and I had such a blast. Once I got to Vegas on Friday, I immediately went to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. I had tickets for the hour of 11 o'clock. I thought I wasn't going to make it because of the craziness at the airport and getting my rental car, but I did. Bummer though, if I was about 30 minutes earlier, I would have seen Zach Bagans himself because he was at the museum and I was like, but I did get there in my lovely witchy garb. I prepared myself for the energy that was going to hit me, and I did purchase the RIP, which is this little guy. They gave me extra access to spots that not everybody else was able to go into, and I'm glad I did this. Let's get started. I go into like their foyer that has pictures of celebrities that have come through the door to like really creepy dolls and that sort of thing. So here's a picture of what I saw. And I wish I was able to take more pictures, but unfortunately they say that it is still a ghostly place, that they are still doing, infrared lighting. They're still doing spirit boxes. They're still investigating this house. So all of our electronics had to be powered down and off, and so I'm like, meh. But the energy in this place was heavy. When I talk about heavy, it literally felt like someone was sitting on my chest the entire time. Now, mind you, I was wearing my necklace that has my black tourmaline, my Herkimer diamond on it, and my talisman, so I felt protected, but it was rough. Now, there was rooms upon rooms of stuff. Zach has collected so much in his lovely oddities collection that it was mind-blowing, the items he had. He had rooms that were just old rooms of the home, which that mansion, the Wigamer Ranch, it starts with a W. I know that. I'll have to double check though. That mansion has been around since the late 1800s, and it has a lot of history, lots and lots of haunted objects now. And it's one of those things where every room has a story. The rooms that we were kind of in and out of were like doll rooms, of course. He had tons of dolls. He had taxidermy. He had a room dedicated to the owner, Dennis, the guy who owned the bunny ranch. The bed that Dennis died in is said to have been haunted, and the widow of Dennis donated this furniture to Zach, saying they wanted it out of the bunny ranch. This is the same bed that Lamar Odom almost died in, and he says that he was not on drugs, that the ghost of Dennis was trying to kill him. Can't make that shit up. Can't make it up. There was a room dedicated to Ed Gein, which this was the only room that I felt touched in. Especially being that A, I was in my witchy garb, and B, I was standing next to the cursed cauldron. This is the cauldron that Ed used to dismember and bleed out his victims. And it was beautiful. It really was. And I was wearing one of my kimonos in my shorts, and I felt a sway of my kimono on my back of my legs. And I looked just to see and make sure that there wasn't any type of vent or anything. And I was like, nope, no vent. So I stood there really still listening to, because all of these rooms had a video of Zach talking about what the items were in it, any type of history in regards to the items in the room. And so I'm standing there, hands on my hips, trying to stay really still, and I felt my kimono at the base of, like, near my calves swaying again, and I'm like, oh. So that was like my main experience when I came to that, and I was kind of creeped out that it was Ed Gein's room that did that to me, but hey, it happened. You know, they had satanic rituals in the basement. I went into the basement, again, very heavy, heavy, heavy. People have passed out in this room. People have gone temporarily paralyzed in this house. Like, there is insane shit. And I told myself, I was like, Marlaina, you're protected. You're not going to pass out. You're not going to be a statistic in this house. You're going to chill out. You're going to enjoy this. You're super excited. That could be another reason why you feel very heavy. Whew. There are rooms in there that are dedicated to clowns. So if you have a clown phobia, oh my gosh, you would freak the fuck out. And I did have some people on our tour that hated clowns and was like, let me get out of here. Let me get out of here kind of deal. He had rooms dedicated to famous people too. He has Sharon Tate's wedding dress, which, just seeing that just almost brought me to tears. He has Robin Williams, his costume from Where Dreams May Come. I think that's the name of the movie. He has Brandon Lee's The Crow's trench coat. Now, Brandon Lee was not killed in the trench coat, but he does have the trench coat. He had items from Patrick Swayze. And he had items from, he has the chair from Michael Jackson's home where the doctor that administered his propofol sat next to him while he was, next to Michael Jackson while he was sleeping. And you can tell, like, the stain marks. Oh, it's so weird. So, and there were so many. Oh, he had Truman Capote stuff, like all like medication bottles. It was one of his most expensive pieces in this museum is a piece of James Dean's Porsche Little Bastard. It's like an axle. From what we're told, this is the only authenticated piece of the Porsche left. And Zach paid $380,000 for it. Holy shit. Like, and then I realized that Vampira and James Dean were an item. And James broke it off with Vampira, and she started doing like weird witchy spells on him. She had an altar that had James Dean's likeness everywhere on it. One of the pictures had his eyes and his ears like cut out. She sent him pictures of her at a gravesite saying we will meet again, kind of stuff. Like, before he even passed away, she was like sending him stuff of he has to be reborn. He has to come to her again, kind of stuff. And I'm like, as a witch, and knowing when a lover is scorned, things could go a little bit awry. But hearing that situation, I was like, holy shit. Could she have conjured or manifested him dying? Or maybe even cursed the car that he was in? Because it wasn't just James. It was other people that either drove the car, transported the car, housed the car. These people were dying left and right. And they were just even in the presence of Little Bastard. So I'm like, whoa. I'll leave you with this. This place is ginormous. Lots and lots of stuff to look at. Lots and lots of heaviness. I felt really, really uneasy in front of the Devil's Rocking Chair, which was the part of an exorcism of a little boy named David in Connecticut. it spawned a lot of the some of the Conjuring videos. I think it was Conjuring 3 that this story inspired. That I got really close to it, and that took my breath away. You guys know on my Spooky Objects that I talked about the Dybbuk box, and I was able to see it. I'm telling you, that room drew me in so hard, to the point where I was standing in front of the Dybbuk box, glass and everything in between us, and I was mesmerized to where I didn't move. I barely blinked. I literally was hyper fixated on this box, and knowing the stories of these objects that I was seeing was freaking insane. But this box just like, it drew me in so hard. At the end of it, he has a painting from Hands Resist Him. Holy shit, he has Bill Stoneham's painting. He has the Crying Boy painting. He has Robert the Doll. He has all of these things that I talked about, and I was able to physically see them. Like, just the giddiness of knowing the backstories behind these items and talking to you about them, and then all of a sudden seeing them in your face was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I highly recommend doing this tour. We started the tour around 11:30 in the morning. I didn't get out of the gift shop till about 2:15 in the afternoon, so it's pretty much worth your money because it's a pretty lengthy one. If you are sensitive to energy, I don't recommend this. Again, very heavy. I came out of there feeling like someone who was sitting on my chest the entire time, and it was really hard, even outside, hard for me to breathe. Good thing was, being the crystal witch I am, I had black kyanite in my suitcase, and I, like a crazy person, or it looked like I was literally just cutting. I was like, you crap, stay where you are. You're not coming with me. Everything's good. Go away. You know, I was chanting, nothing will be attached to me. Everything will stay where it is. I cannot help you. Stay where you're at. But the only thing is I didn't have my purple amethyst with me, and I was really, really upset about that, because purple amethyst is supposed to calm you. It's supposed to chill you out, and I was still kind of high strung. Later on in the trip, I was able to find an amethyst pendant that I will probably show you guys a little bit later when I wear my talismans, and it helped me a lot ground and focus and just breathe. But unfortunately, I found it at the end of my trip, so I was still constantly like kind of wound up until the night before I left. So before I end this, I'm so excited to show you guys this. I have got a few souvenirs. So I love this. This, you know me in books. So seeing Zach in the library with all of his fun little stuff. He also has like a shrunken head, like just crazy stuff. This is from the Demon House. If you've watched, he has a documentary about the Demon House. It was a house in Gary, Indiana that he went in to try to do a 24-hour lockdown, and the energy in this and the demons that were in this actually took some of his eyesight. But this is part of the stairs to the basement. There's actual dirt from the house in the basement in this little area. Yeah, it's insane. And then last but not least, I had to do it. The Dybbuk box. This, again, I was standing right here looking at this, just absolutely mesmerized. Oh, good time. Alrighty. There you have it. My adventures at the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's so much more that I probably have already forgotten because, again, I couldn't document all the cool shit that I saw. But, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine having all of those haunted objects and how he manages that energy, how he manages keeping everything respectful, keeping things, you know, where they need to be, and making sure people don't get possessed too. I don't know how he does it. Thank you so much again for joining me on my ghost adventures. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!